Buddy, what's going on, everyone? I'm not sure. Can you guys see me and can you guys hear me all right? Just making sure that everything works. Just want to make sure everything's okay before we, um, move on with the Q&A and everything. All right, I'm just going to assume that everything is working for right now. If something's not working, like you can't hear me or you can't, see me or whatever, just let me know. And we're going to get to, and that's your, yes, we can see and hear. Okay, that's awesome. Okay, so yes, I am going to. We already have a ton of questions already, and that's awesome. I'm just gonna share the stuff about this live stream, like share that we're doing a live stream on some social media platforms first. But then after that, I'll make sure to get to your questions. Okay, so cool. Let me just get this out of the way, just to make sure everyone can see it. But yeah, everyone say hi to each other, I guess. And I know that there were a lot of questions that were asked even before the live stream started. So I'll make sure to go back and answer all of those. It's actually so awesome we have so many questions already. Just give me a second, guys. I'll be right there. All right, and we are good to go. Hey, everybody. Sorry about that. But yeah, let's go back to the top of the chat because there's a lot to get through, and I'll make sure to spend a good amount of time on each of your questions. Okay, so first up from Jose Hernandez. Hey Raptor, I may not be able to see or hear because this was asked before the show started, but I like your videos. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And the question I want to know was, is Deku a building level? I would absolutely say he's a building level. Definitely beyond that, probably as well. Just when it comes to like scaling to All Might, of course he's not at All Might's level yet, but he'll definitely get there, if not surpassing All Might, later in the series. So even if he wasn't there, he would be there eventually. If you want like a level kind of thing, I don't know if he has mountain level feats. Maybe not up to that point yet. I'm not too familiar with My Hero Academia, but definitely like around like city level, town level, something like that, just by using scaling. Again, I could be wrong with some of this stuff because I'm not too familiar with My Hero, but that's my answer to that. Will Wolverine come back to Death Battle, and who would he face? That's interesting because I'm not sure if they're going to bring Wolverine back because he's a very unique case. He's like, he really can't die unless you have the right tools to do it, kind of like a symbiote for the upcoming Venom versus Krona. So I guess it's possible they could bring Wolverine back. I'm not sure how likely that is, though. And who would he face? That's interesting because, like, you could say Freddy Krueger because, again, of course, that's been suggested a lot, and Freddy does have mental attacks, but Wolverine has resisted those before. Maybe Freddy Krueger because you could still like play around a lot with those kinds of things. It would be more interesting than something like Wolverine versus Baraka, in my opinion, because to my knowledge, Baraka doesn't have any way of killing Wolverine. So that'd be my answer to that. In your opinion, what would be a good opponent for Scott Pilgrim? I've heard a lot of people say Scott Pilgrim versus Travis Touchdown. I don't really know who Travis Touchdown is, though, and I'm only vaguely familiar with Scott Pilgrim, so I don't know how close of a fight it would be, but I think that's the fight that a lot of people want to see. So I would probably say that. I haven't seen Scott Pilgrim, like I haven't read the comics or seen the movie. I do really want to see the movie though. I was talking to my brother about it like literally the other day, so that's pretty cool. Green Arrow versus Green Goblin. In a fight, Green Goblin will win when you scale him to Spider-Man. He's just stronger and faster and everything like that. Green Arrow does have a lot of good versatility, but I think that Green Goblin is just, consistently more powerful. And in terms of who I prefer Green Goblin. I just prefer, a lot of the Spider-Man villains. I like a lot of them, especially like Green Goblin, Carnage, Venom, Scorpion even. a lot of those guys. What do we got next? Tenya versus Quicksilver. Probably Quicksilver. Again, I'm not too familiar with my hero, but I think Quicksilver just has better feats, so I would say him. Scott versus Abobo maybe is a good fight for Scott. Okay, possibly. I don't know. I don't know that much about Abobo or Scott, so again, it's hard to say. And Deku is over building level. Okay. Okay, keep going down. Sonic the Hedgehog versus Quicksilver. I've done this as a who, when, and why before, like a long time ago, and not everything there might be 100% accurate, and it kind of depends on how you want to scale Sonic. Like if you want to, if you go by Death Battle's numbers, then he's not quite light speed. I personally think that he is past the speed of light, similarly to Quicksilver, but again, that's kind of like how you want to interpret things. And yeah, I want to say that Sonic would probably win that. You know, he's got the 100 kiloton feat when he broke up that stalactite with Metal Sonic. I'm not sure about Quicksilver's best strength feat, and his durability would probably be tough for Sonic to get around too, because Quicksilver survived some crazy things. But I think if you include Super Sonic in there, I think Sonic would be able to get it done. And of course, if it's Archie Sonic, then he absolutely obliterates Quicksilver. My number 1 matchup was Red Hood versus Winter Soldier. Now my number 2 matchup is Jason versus Michael. Yeah, absolutely. That's a really good matchup. For me, actually, Winter Soldier versus Red Hood was my number 2, and my number 1 is still Galactus versus Unicron, which I'm really hoping to see this season as a season finale. It may happen, might not happen, I don't know. But I'm still, fingers crossed for it. And yeah, in terms of Jason versus Michael, that'd be a really interesting fight. It could happen later this year or even like later this month, if they want to do something for Halloween, although they typically don't do things specifically for Halloween. So yeah, I don't know. It's possible, but it's hard to say. What is your favorite Death Battle episode so far in Season 7? I actually made a whole ranking for the first half of Season 7 after She-Ra vs. Wonder Woman came out. And my favorite as of right now is Obi-Wan Kenobi versus Kakashi. I know some people don't really like how they did that fight, but I personally loved it. As a fan of both Star Wars and Naruto, I personally thought it was great, but I completely respect your opinion if you disagree with that opinion. If you're talking about like after that, like after the halfway point, then probably Beerus versus Galaxia. That was a really good fight. Honestly, Season 7 has been doing very well in my opinion, so that's cool. What do we got next? My favorite matchup is Archie Sonic versus Composite Ruby Rose. Okay, cool. That's really cool. Personally, I haven't seen that fight requested very much, but that's awesome. And then it's not the best, but it's my 2 favorite characters duking it out. Well, sometimes that's all you need. That's all you really need in order to find a good fight. It's your favorite characters. Let's see. Official Jason beat Michael. Okay, maybe sometime. Let's see. Still waiting on Toa versus Remy. Is that supposed to be Toad? Or is there a Toa I'm not aware of? Anyway, yeah, that fight could happen at some point. I think I picked a good thumbnail this time. Thank you, Lucas. And thus, there you are. Hey, everybody. Yeah, now everyone's saying hey, and that you can hear me. Okay, so I'm kind of catching up. Now, oh, shoot. Where'd I go? I'm hearing you, okay? Sorry, lost track of the chat for a second. How you guys doing today? What is your favorite death battle, and what is the death battle you hate the most? Oh, actually, we missed a question. What Pokemon would you like to see in death battle? A while ago, it would have been Mewtwo, but Mewtwo has already been in death battle. I don't know. Maybe Lickitung. Because I remember getting a card of him when I was really young, and I thought he would just look super ridiculous. I know they'll never put him in Death Battle, but I thought it was just looking super ridiculous with that tongue and everything. Honestly, a lot of the Pokemon that I like, they've already used, like Pikachu and Mewtwo and Charizard. So yeah, I don't know. I don't really have a strong opinion on that. And now again, what is your favorite death battle, and what is the death battle you hate the most? My favorite death battle of all time is Wolverine versus Raiden, actually. Personally, I just love the way they did it. I thought the animation was one of the best that they've ever done on their channel. Torian, amazing animator. And yeah, I just love their reasoning for it and how they were logically able to come to a conclusion for, this mind-bending, question of, could the high-frequency blade cut through adamantium? I just thought it was very well handled. I know some people don't like that one. A lot of the fights I like, actually, are kind of controversial. But yeah, that's my favorite. And for my least favorite, I've kind of gone back and forth with this for a bit, but my least favorite would probably have to be, Starscream versus Rainbow Dash. Not because, I'm super upset that a pony beat a Transformer. I personally am not too interested in My Little Pony or Transformers. It's more so because, Rainbow Dash didn't actually have a way of killing Starscream. They actually confirmed later in a Q&A that Rainbow Dash, when she ate Starscream's life force, it didn't kill him. And they tried to play it off like, oh, you know, it's a fate worse than death if he just possesses like a sewing machine or something, like the only technology that's in the pony world. So really, the reason why I don't like it is because they went against their own rules of Death Battle to make it funny. Because literally Rainbow Dash had no way of killing Starscream. And I think joke fights are good, but not when they're taken to that extreme, you know, when it you know, it goes against their own rules. It's a bit of a personal thing for me, so I don't expect a lot of people to share that opinion, but that's just me. Sup dudes and dudettes, of course. Which death battles do you find the most inaccurate? The one death battle that I really find the most inaccurate is Rogue versus Wonder Woman. I know it's a very early episode, it was episode 3, but that's the fight where it's like, I feel like they really misunderstood how Rogue's powers work and how, you know, who she should be able to beat and who she shouldn't be able to beat, because Wonder Woman is just so far out of her power range that realistically Rogue shouldn't have the chance to be able to beat Wonder Woman or to steal her powers to that point where she would actually surpass her. So, you know, I could keep going. Like, Goku versus Superman, I kind of have a problem with too, because putting him at infinite power doesn't make any sense, because he will never have infinite power at any given moment. It's just infinite potential. So Superman is still extremely powerful, but he's not infinitely powered. He would not be at any other point. What Pokemon would you like to see? Death Battle, okay. Have you watched one of my videos? Also, I really like your videos. Thank you so much. I'm not sure. I may have come across one of your videos before, but I'll be sure to give your channel a check after this live stream. So there you go. In your opinion, what a better opponent for Kick-Ass? Again, like, these are characters I'm not too familiar with. When it comes to Kick-Ass, I don't know. Just honestly, like, you could use kind of like a jokey character, or you could just use like a competent fighter. You know, I've heard a lot of people say like Hit Girl versus Damian Wayne, which I think would actually be pretty fun. I don't know how close of a fight that is, because again, I just don't know that much about Hit Girl. But for Kick-Ass, I'm not really sure. Again, just if you want to go like the jokey route, you could, or if you want to go the more serious route, you could as well. Just go for like a relatively young fighter, you know, something like that. Let's wait for the Raptor to catch up with the chat first. Yeah, I'm falling very behind. But let's see. Who would win, Quicksilver or Cabal? Quicksilver. He's just too fast. Unless like I'm missing something really big about Cabal that puts him like ridiculously strong or something. Also, who you got in Galactus versus Unicron? As of right now, I would want to say Unicron would win, but I've heard a lot of things about Galactus recently. Like, Galactus at his most powerful is absurd. And, like, I didn't even know how... I knew he was powerful. I didn't even know how powerful he was until I did more research on him. And holy crap, he is insanely powerful. And if they equip Galactus with the Ultimate Nullifier, that could be a real issue for Unicron, because that thing is capable of destroying literally anything. Like, infinite multiverses, essentially. So, you know, it's hard to say. If Death Battle's using Galactus at his full power, then I'm not really sure. And I'm sure they will use him at his full power. So... you know, yeah, that's hard to say. I'll have to do more research on that. I would still want to say Unicron, but I don't know. Who do you think would win, Deku or Shinra? That's interesting. Like, I'd want to say Shinra is more over the top, but Deku might technically have better feats. I don't know. It's just one of those things where I don't have all the feats, so I'm not 100% sure. I think Deku would probably be the safe answer. I don't know. Is Outer Versal real because he ran up to escalator which has infinite stairs? Okay, Outroversal Furred. I don't know if you misspelled that, or if that's just a character I don't know. But if you run up an escalator that has infinite stairs, like, that's incalculable speed. So there you go. Can Archie Sonic beat Lucy from Elfen Lied? Yes, Archie Sonic can definitely do that. Way too fast and way too strong. Even with her Mach 500 Mach 500 vectors, it's just not fast enough at all. Hey, Marlon Cardoso. What live-action death battle would you like to see? See, again, it would have been Winter Soldier versus Red Hood, but the fact that they just did that, you know, it's hard for me to think. I would like them to do a live-action fight that's not Marvel versus DC. If you want to actually, if you wanted to bring Kick-Ass into death battle, that would actually work very well. But, you know, I think, you could do something that's not just like street tier Marvel versus DC. but Marvel vs. DC is what I like to see, you know? So I don't know. You need some grounded characters for that, like characters that you can easily like show off their abilities in live action without using too much CGI or anything like that. So I don't know. I'll have to think about that. Maybe I'll think about that over the course of this, and I'll get back to you if I come up with a good answer. Thoughts on your character Richard Hazard, obviously without spoilers, how he's operating through the story and how that affects you. Plus, you are awesome member of the cast. Thank you so much. For those of you guys who are confused by what that is, I voice a character on Lucas Green's series that he has on his YouTube channel called the Linksy series. I voice a couple characters. As of right now, the main characters I'm voicing are Richard Hazard and Red Lightning. Richard Hazard is a very interesting character. I don't want to get into spoilers about what's going on with him because there are developments going to happen with him. But yeah, very interesting character, very cool. And I think, yeah, he's just going to be a fun character to play in the future. As of right now, he's still fun to play, but even more so in the future, I think it's going to be extremely fun. Anybody else want to see obscure video game character in Death Battle? Obscure video game character, again, like I don't know that many obscure video games. If you really want like an answer from me, I don't know if this was a question directed at me, but if you really want an answer from me, maybe Dirk from Dragon's Lair. I don't know if any of you guys actually know what that is. So there you go. That's pretty obscure, maybe. What are some lesser known franchises of any medium that you would like to see repped in Death Battle? As of right now, I would really like to see the Umbrella Academy in Death Battle. I don't know how many of you guys actually know what that is. It's like a new series on Netflix, and it was also a comic series made by Dark Horse, you know, same people that do Hellboy and The Mask, etc., and a bunch of other stuff. So as of right now, the big characters that I'd like to see in Death Battle are characters from the Umbrella Academy, because I think they're very interesting, especially like if you decide to go the more comic route. And yeah, I don't know. Those are just characters I'm very into right now. So I don't think it's very likely, but I would really like to see that happen. What is a good foe for composite Sonic.exe? I don't know. That's a hard one because Sonic.exe is very, like, would you just use like another horror character? Like assuming, Sonic.exe, like, the creepypasta. I don't know. That's interesting. If you just want to use like another creepypasta character, it could work. Realistically, you probably want another creepypasta character based off of like a video game or something. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know that much about Sonic.exe in general, so that's hard to say. What do you think of Death Battle Season 4? I think it's all right. I did have some great episodes. Like Balrog versus TJ combo, but there were some bad episodes like Sub-Zero versus Glacius. As of right now, season 4 is very much a middle season for me. Like if I was trying to rank all the seasons, it might be even dead in the middle. Like it's good. Some of my favorite episodes are from season 4, like Balrog versus TJ combo, and even Naruto versus Ichigo. I thought that one was really good too. And Sub-Zero versus Glacius, I don't have a huge problem with that one. Honestly, I have more of an issue with Cammy versus Sonya, which happened in season 3. I believe it was. But I can understand not liking Sub-Zero versus Glacius that much. Overall, I think Season 4 is pretty decent. What would be the first horror death battle? Maybe Slenderman versus Siren Head. That's very topical. Yeah, I could definitely see that one happening. Unless, of course, you want to go more the route of, oh crap, what is it? Jason versus Michael. Do you prefer Wolverine with the classic suit or without the suit? And the white tank top and dog tags. If you're going like more live action, it might be tough to do that suit, like the yellow suit in live action. So I can understand the route they went with the X-Men movies in the past. But if you're just talking like in the comics, like which one do I like seeing represented on panel? The yellow suit. It's gotta be super iconic, and I honestly think it looks cool. Even in the comics, I think it looks really cool. Who do you think will be the next Godzilla monster to appear in Death Battle? I think it's going to be King Ghidorah, and I think his opponent will be Zedon, hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, from Ultraman. I definitely think it would be King Ghidorah, but I don't know, too much about King Ghidorah to like make a good prediction about his opponent. But I do think you're definitely right on that. If they were going to bring another Godzilla character into Death Battle, I think it would be King Ghidorah. What a best opponent for Kick-Ass, okay. Mario versus Rayman. I don't know that much about Rayman, but I've heard that he's got like some crazy feats that put him at like, higher than Mario. But again, I can't say that for 100% certain. If you really want an answer for me, I would say Rayman just from those just from those points alone, from what I've heard. I watched Amazing Spider-Man 1, and I think that movie is underrated. Personally, I haven't seen a Spider-Man movie that I haven't enjoyed to a certain degree. Don't get me wrong, there are some that are much better than others. But ultimately, yeah, like, I don't think okay, yeah, there are problems with certain Spider-Man movies. Like, that's obvious. But in terms of just an enjoyment factor, I really like all of them. Like, honestly, I like them all. And yeah, The Amazing Spider-Man 1, I think, gets a little too much crap. So there you go. How about your favorite ice cream? Chocolate, absolutely. Chocolate everything. No question about that. Donald Duck versus Daffy Duck. In a fight, probably, I would probably say Daffy, just because, again, like with Bugs versus Mickey, I think Daffy's Toon Force is just too over the top. It's more over the top. It gives him, more. It just gives him more options in general. It's definitely because, like, Daffy can't do everything that Bugs can do, from my knowledge. He can't, like, step out of the scene and become the animator or anything like that. So I think that's a close fight, but I would probably say Daffy if I really needed to say that. I think Mario would win. Okay, maybe you know something about the characters that I don't. That's awesome if you think that Mario would win. I personally don't know. Again, my answer would be Raymond, just based on everything else I've heard, but I could be completely wrong. So there you go. If Hellboy comes to Death Battle, who's he most likely going to face? I've heard a lot of people say Hellboy versus Nightcrawler, which I don't agree with. And yeah, like, I don't know. There's also, like, I've heard Hellboy versus Spawn before, but that's a little, even then I don't know about that one. Hellboy's tough because he's a very kind of, like, specific character. I guess I would say Spawn, but even then, like, I don't really think that's a great fight. Hellboy is very tough. I think, yeah, you would probably, like, need to find some more obscure character that I don't know about. A long time ago in a Who, When, and Why, far, far ago, Speedy Hedgehog fought a Blue Blitz, LOL. Yes, referring to the Sonic versus Quicksilver thing. I just realized how many questions we still have. Holy crap. I'm sorry, guys. But don't worry, I will get to your question or what you're saying eventually. Again, what Pokemon? Again, like, it's hard to say. It's hard to say because sorry, wait. So I completely blanked for a second. Sorry. Again, like, a lot of the Pokemon that I've seen, that I like, have already been in Death Battle. Again, Licky Tongue, if you really want an answer from me. Sonic should win next time he's in Death Battle. We need Wario versus Shadow. Again, it's all just based on the research. I do probably think, yeah, Shadow would beat Wario if they wanted to do that. So there you go. Galactus versus Magikarp. I don't know that much about Magikarp, but, I have a feeling Galactus would win that one, unless Magikarp is, like, a Galactus level character. I probably sound so stupid just saying that for the people that really know stuff about Pokemon. The Ninja Turtles versus the Squirtle Squad. Again, don't know that much about Squirtle Squad, but the Ninja Turtles have some pretty impressive feats, just in terms of speed and strength. Stuff that I didn't even know before, Leonardo versus Red Ranger Jason. Maybe Galactus versus Unicron should be 3D. That'd be awesome. I think that would be really awesome. It'd be a very big undertaking, especially if they want to make the fight look interesting, because they're not characters that, like, throw a bunch of punches and kicks and everything like that. So there you go. Oh, Toa is the one above all. Okay, I see. Sorry. So the one above all versus Remy the Rat. Yes, absolutely. Insanely popular fight. Yeah, sorry. I've heard the one above all be referred like that. I guess I just completely blanked. I guess I was just trying to find someone, like, really comparable to Remy, at least in some way. An idea for a joke fight: May versus Thanos, or rock versus paper versus scissors. We'll see about that. Like, if we're looking at bad battle, who knows? Maybe one day. Yeah, the one above all versus Remy. I don't know, because the one above all, like, is God of the Marvel universe, and he's pretty well established to be, like, infinite in like every single way. Whereas Remy is just above that, So I don't know. I'd probably say Remy. I want for Death Battle. That's cool. Someone asked you, what is your favorite color? You missed that? Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, there's a chance I might miss a question. If I do, I apologize. Just ask again. I really hope I get to everybody's questions. So yeah, my favorite color is green. It's been green, like, ever since I was, like, 4 years old, and there's no chance in hell that I'm changing that. So there you go. There should be another Pokemon Battle Royale with Sceptile, Blaziken, and Swampert. Okay, again, like, I don't really know these characters too well. But there you go. They did Ganondorf, Dracula versus Halloween. I think this year's Halloween is going to be John Talon versus Saberwolf. Side note, we haven't seen a Darkstalkers character since season 1. Okay, so yeah, I guess they do, focus more, or they pay attention to like Halloween stuff, I guess, more than I thought. It's just nothing is like super obvious, like, oh yes, this is a Halloween episode, But yeah, that's cool. Let's see what else we got. Darkeye from Pokemon should also appear. All right. A Pokemon I'd like to see in Death Battle is, oh god, Sudowoodo. Is that right? Sudowoodo versus Mokujin from Tekken might make for a fun filler, smaller episode. Yeah, that would be interesting. Again, I don't know too much about characters. See, that's the thing. A lot of people, like, when they're in the versus debate community, they seem to just have a lot of knowledge on, like, a ton of different characters. But every time, like, I see, a lot of people suggesting battles, I look at them like, I don't even know who that character is. Like, I don't know. It seems like a lot of people are just very versatile with their interests, whereas I'm mostly, like, a Marvel DC guy. I had to rewatch Shrek to pass time waiting for you. Oh, sorry about that. But let's see. Roman Torchwick, Ruby versus Black Mask. So again, like, I'm not caught up with Ruby. I'd imagine any character from Ruby is probably more over the top. But again, I could be wrong there. I could be wrong with that. All Might versus Captain Falcon. I think All Might has better feats. Like, again, like, if you really want to go up to like the whole creating a storm, which is in like the tens or even hundreds of gigatons of TNT, even without like that 60 times multiplier, even if you want to put that in there, I think that's better than Captain Falcon's best feat, which is like 151 billion joules of energy. Just for context, by the way, 4 billion joules of energy, or 4.2 billion joules of energy equals 1 ton of TNT. So 151 billion joules of energy is actually not that impressive in the grand scheme of things. So I would say, I would say All Might would win that. Bubsy versus Cosmic Armor Superman. I don't know that much about Bubsy, but Cosmic Armor Superman is like absolutely insane. Like, what is it? Like, does he even have this thing where like he automatically becomes stronger than his opponent or something? I could be just pulling that out of my ass. I'm not really sure. Son of a Pirate, a Darkseid or Mao. I don't know who that is. But like, unless Mao has a way to like attack Darkseid's true form, I'm not sure if Mao can win that one. What's up? Hey Maurice, what's up? I'm doing okay. Trying to catch up to the questions. What anime do you like or dislike most? The anime that I like, if you include Ruby as an anime, even though I'm not caught up, I still really like it. I also really like Naruto. Those are probably my 2 favorites. Again, just Naruto if you don't include Ruby as an anime. There isn't really an anime that I dislike, just because I'm not into too many different anime. So yeah, I don't really have an opinion on an anime that I dislike. I do think that there are some certain anime that might be overhyped, but there's none that I really dislike. I'm guessing now you remember the cast and are trying to watch the show to understand the plot of the Lynxy series. Yeah, definitely. Can Archie Mega Man beat Iron Man? If Archie Mega Man is anything like Archie Sonic, I'd want to say yeah, but I don't know. I don't know how Archie Mega Man compares to Archie Sonic. So again, it's one of those things where I just don't know all the feats. Although Iron Man's best feat, destroying that huge like mountain or whatever, like in the teratons, or like I think it was like 200. Was it like 286 teratons of TNT or something? That was crazy. So again, it's tough to say. What joke fight would you like? Maybe Hobbs versus Tigger. Hobbs from Calvin and Hobbes versus Tigger from Winnie the Pooh. I don't know. I don't know too many joke fights. What else we got? Okay. Rogue versus Wonder Woman makes me wonder, no pun intended. Who do you think would make a good death battle opponent for Rogue? See, again, like, Rogue is one of those very specific characters where you have like, she absorbs powers, but I don't know who you would match Rogue up with. You need some sort of like, it's got to be some sort of character that like their powers are dependent on other characters' powers, to make it thematically work. And definitely not someone as strong as Wonder Woman. I'm just trying to think like if I could actually like really come up with a good opponent for Rogue. Like if there's any sort of like power siphoning, or I don't know. Again, I may have to think I may have to think about that later. Jesus, 30 people. I don't recall there being this many last stream. Neither do I. There are 34 people, or at least what it says on my screen right here. 34 people currently watching. And 20 likes already. That's insane. That's awesome. Thank you guys so much. Thank you guys so much, for liking the video. Who's the third most powerful thing? Me. No, I'm joking. I don't know what the third most powerful thing in the world is. The only anime I'm not a fan of is Digimon. Pokemon is my number one anime in game always. Of course, like, if you really like something, then the big competitor, you might be against that. I can definitely understand that. I don't know. I'm not too into Digimon. I definitely like Pokemon more. But I don't know. I don't hate Digimon or anything. In your opinion, who would win a Shonen Jump Battle Royale? Goku, Luffy, Naruto, or Ichigo? Goku just being as powerful as he is, I would assume, I'd assume Goku would totally win that one. The Punisher versus the Terminator, it depends on what the Punisher has in his arsenal. If he has anything that could actually blow up the Terminator, then that could work. But I want to say the Terminator just in general has better stamina. And, a bullet could, like, put a Punisher down, if it's well placed enough, whereas you can't really say the same for the Terminator, So my gut would say Terminator, but again, if Punisher has like some sort of like ridiculous weapon on him, then he could definitely win that one. My favorite death battle is Mario vs. Sonic 2018, and my least favorite is Goku vs. Superman 2. Honestly, I can definitely understand why. Could someone with just the Reality Stone defeat an opponent who opposes the remaining 5? That's a very interesting question. I've never thought about it that way before. Because if you've watched my channel before, and like one of my Q&As that talks about the Infinity Stones, then you'll know that I've said that like the Reality Stone is absolutely the most powerful stone. Because like if you're allowed to alter reality, then what can you not do? Like it seems like it would encompass everything that the other stones can do. You know what I mean? Although I believe that the Power Stone actually does provide extra power to the other stones, which doesn't make a lot of sense because if they're already supposed to be infinite, then how does that work? It could just depend on reaction speed. Like if someone has like both the Space and Time Stone, then, maybe they would just be able to just say, hey, you can't move. You have no speed on you. And then that wouldn't work. But the Reality Stone is it's super powerful. I don't know. My guess is that maybe I'm missing something about the Reality Stone that doesn't actually put it as powerful as I think it did. I think it could go either way. I think it really just depends on how they use the stones. Ferd versus the Marvel Universe, don't really know. Ferd is from Pokemon, by the way. Okay, thank you about that. Who would win, Human Torch or Firestorm? Definitely Firestorm. Human Torch, just to give you a glimpse of like what his power, his most powerful attack could destroy a small moon according to his own estimation, whereas Firestorm, like, he can alter matter in essentially any way he wants to, and apparently like he could get to like a cosmic level of power if he's not careful. So I would definitely say Firestorm on that. Honestly, Firestorm is like Iceman would probably be a better opponent for Firestorm because they're both insanely broken. Should Bowser return in Death Battle? I could definitely see him returning, although the other opponent I would think Bowser would fight, just off the top of my head, is King Dedede. But then you'd have both King Dedede and Bowser returning, and King Dedede already fought a Mario character. So I don't know. I think Bowser could return, but you'd have to get a really good opponent for him. I think Pennywise would beat Slenderman. Okay, that's perfectly fine. This is obviously referring to my Slenderman versus Pennywise, who, when, and why. No, that's absolutely fair. Like, Pennywise is an absolute beast. For me, it just really comes down to the fact that, Slenderman doesn't feel any fear. So it's like, Pennywise, he is extremely powerful over those who has fear, who he can inflict fear over. It's just the kind of thing where it's like, Slenderman doesn't have any fear, so would he even have any power over him in the first place? And Pennywise's true form is extremely powerful, but Slenderman actually has a way of attacking the true form just by, resisting Pennywise, which he can do like with literally no effort. So I can definitely understand, the argument for Pennywise being Slenderman. I just personally think Slenderman would win, but it's totally cool if we disagree. I hope Mickey versus Bugs Death Battle happens soon. Honestly, me too. I think Death Battle has said before that they're a little hesitant to bring in those kinds of characters, but that was a long time ago, and they brought in more cartoony-like characters, so I think it's definitely more likely to happen now. How about Judge Dredd versus RoboCop? I'm gonna be honest, I don't know that much about Judge Dredd at all. I haven't seen any of the movies or anything like that. But I don't know. If Judge Dredd has something powerful enough to, again, to get past RoboCop's durability, then there you go. But it's hard to say. What have we got? Pennywise the Dancing Clown, aka It, versus Freddy Krueger. Probably Pennywise. I just think in general he's got more power at his fingertips. I don't think there's anything that says that Freddy Krueger can't feel fear. So I definitely think he would be able to take him down. Kick-Ass versus Harley Quinn. Harley Quinn has gone through some phases in the comics that makes her more powerful. But if we're looking at just like standard Harley Quinn versus standard Kick-Ass, I think Harley Quinn is too unpredictable for him. Then again, I don't know everything that's in Kick-Ass's arsenal, but that's what I would probably go with. Tim Drake versus Donatello, really awesome fight. Like, again, like if Donatello scales to like Leonardo, then he probably has like lightning fast reaction speed, which I'm not sure if Tim Drake has. But Tim Drake, he's a better detective, but Donatello I think is overall smarter because he's got like this ridiculously high IQ number, which I think is like in the 600s or something. He definitely also has more Tim Drake would have more versatility, but I think that Donatello would have more durability. I don't know. I think if there's no prep time, I think Donatello is more set to win that fight, but it's hard to say. Hey, the Raptor, loving the vids. Could you do a who and why between Prophet Muhammad and our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ? Sorry, I'm probably not going to do that because I don't want to step on that territory too much. But thank you for watching my videos. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Is Yusuke from Yu Yu Hakusho a good opponent for Deku? In terms of power output, at least according to Death Battle, probably not because, again, like Yusuke made that like insanely powerful explosion when clashing with that villain or whatever that was, which equaled like planetary level destruction. Again, whether or not you agree with that, that's your opinion, but I don't know that much about Yu Yu Hakusho otherwise. Either way, I think Yusuke is probably too powerful for Deku, although that could change later, depending on how powerful Deku becomes. Who's your favorite underrated Marvel villain? I like a lot of villains who are like properly rated, you know? Like I'm trying to think, like I'd say Scorpion, actually, probably Scorpion from Spider-Man, because a lot of people don't really like Scorpion, or not that they don't like him, but they don't really have a big opinion on him, you know? But I don't know, I really like Scorpion. He was one of my favorites for a very long time when I was just like getting into Spider-Man, and I don't know, I thought Scorpion was always really cool. I thought he was a really good opponent for Spider-Man. It was one that was going to be tough for Spider-Man to take down. And I really hope we actually see him in the MCU, because Matt Gargan is in the MCU, Scorpion, but he hasn't actually become Scorpion yet. Red Hood could even fight Punisher in DBX. Yeah, I could definitely see that happening when DBX comes back. Basically, if someone had just the Reality Stone, could they defeat a guy wielding the 5 remaining stones? Yeah, I know what the question was, but again, I think it might just depend on how well they can use the stones, because I think either one has the potential to do either one. If you could tell, when I say that, I mean, like, I think either character, like with the Reality Stone or the other 5 stones, has the potential to take the other one out. So I think it just might depend on the person using them. If you could tell/ask anything to Ben Wiz, Chad Boomstick, or anyone else at the Death Battle staff, what would it be? I would probably say, you know, you guys are doing a good job. You guys have, like, I've been watching your stuff for a very long time. You know, you've greatly improved in quality. You know, check out my Who and Why videos. No, I probably wouldn't say that. But I might even say, you know, you were an inspiration to me for what I do on my channel. So I would definitely do that. I wouldn't like use that as an opportunity to like complain about anything that they've done. But it would really just be, you know, just thanking them for what they do. If they actually got the chance to see it. Yusuke should fight Ichigo from Bleach, in my humble opinion. Yeah, no, I could definitely see that. I assume the finale for season 11 of Who and Why is coming this Sunday. Yes, Bizarro versus Cyborg, Superman versus Ultraman versus Superboy Prime, such a mouthful, is coming to the channel this coming Sunday. I made a community post, for people voting for who they want, or not who they want to win necessarily, but who they think would win. And it's gotten the most votes on any poll ever so far. So that's really cool. Do you think Carnage losing to Lucy was accurate in their reasoning? Ultimately, I want to say that yes, it was accurate because, again, Lucy definitely has the potential to take Carnage out. At least in my opinion, she does. I do think some of their reasoning is wrong. I definitely don't think that Carnage is only Mach 2. And in terms of how fast he actually is, you could try scaling him to Spider-Man, but the problem with the symbiotes is that they actually negate the spider sense. So there's actually not as big of a case for scaling symbiotes to Spider-Man because Spider-Man would not really be at his best in terms of speed because they negate the spider sense. So in terms of how fast Carnage is, I'm not really sure. But ultimately, yeah, just Lucy has way more strength, and she has the potential to take him out. So I have no problem saying that Lucy would be Carnage. If you disagree, totally understand. I know that's an iffy one. But there you go. I don't like Sub-Zero versus Glacius because it was pretty boring and there wasn't a lot of good jokes except the username joke. Okay, that's pretty fair. Yeah, if you're looking at it just objectively from what you look for in death battles, I could definitely understand that. Siren Head versus Bubsy the Bobcat. Again, don't really know those characters too well. So yeah, just it'd be better to ask someone who has more of an opinion on those characters or someone who knows those characters better. Riku Kingdom Hearts versus Dark Pit Kid Icarus. A fight of two heroes of darkness. Probably Riku. Again, just taking a page from Sora versus Pit. I think in general the Kingdom Hearts characters are just too powerful. They're at least on par with Final Fantasy characters, right? Literally in canon. So there you go. I think that probably Riku would win. What's your favorite death battle score? I like a lot of death battle scores. I think actually I did make a top 5 list on one of my Q&As for death battle scores. I don't think I actually gave them individual numbers, but I said my 5 favorites. If I had to pick, I would probably say Emerald Heroes from Ben 10 versus Green Lantern. What else? Probably I like What's Up Danger, the rap battle. I think that's really cool. Chorus of Carnage is also really good. One Winged Angel from Virgil versus Sephiroth. I also like some of the new ones, like Gods of Destruction, and the one for Obi-Wan versus Kakashi. Oh god, why can't I remember that one? If someone remembers what that one's called, let me know down there because I'd like to remember what that is. But yeah, those are some of my favorites. Charizard Pokemon versus Spyro the Dragon. I assume Spyro has better feats, but again, I'm not 100% sure. If you're including the Mega Evolution for Charizard, that could definitely get interesting. But I don't know the proper scaling for Charizard, or probably not even Spyro. But Spyro has some crazy durability and powers. And also the Ether Breath, I think, could definitely take him out. Hey, Caden, how you doing? Caden's one of my friends that I know in person, so it's really cool that you're here. Would you read the G1 Death Battle as a video? They're usually pretty accurate. Would you read the G1 Death Battle as a video? The G1 Death Battle. I'm not really sure I know what you mean. Maybe I'm just stupid. But they're usually pretty accurate. Do you mean the season 1 Death Battle? Maybe just let me know what you mean. Just clarify that for me. Dr. Doofenshmirtz versus Mr. Crocker. I really want this fight to come to Death Battle. And if they were to do that, again, it's tough because you kind of have to play around with what counts as prep time or not, because these characters don't really include any of their inventions on them at any given time. But at the same time, it's you can't not include them because that's so core to their character. The safe answer is Dr. Doofenshmirtz, because even though he gets beat up by a platypus, he's got so many different innators, whereas Crocker has not invented as much, and they're more so attributed to catching fairies and stuff. So I'd probably say Dr. Doofenshmirtz would win. While Rayman isn't weak, I think Mario's feats are a bit better. Okay, fair enough. Again, if you know the feats, that's perfectly okay. If you took different elements from the live-action Spidey movies, what pieces could make a good live-action Spidey movie? Example, if you took Tom Holland and put in Raimi's movies. I think actually, yeah, Tom Holland and Raimi's movies would be good because you still have, like an amazing actor for Spider-Man, a young actor, and there's something super special about the Raimi movies. I think, yeah, Tom Holland would work quite well in there if it wasn't like bogged down by all the Iron Man stuff. I think also Homecoming did it right in the sense that you can have multiple villains in a Spider-Man movie. You can definitely do that, but you can't have them doing different things or like trying to achieve different goals because then it feels overstuffed. All the villains in Spider-Man Homecoming were working with the Vulture and it worked. But when you have something like Spider-Man 3 or The Amazing Spider-Man 2, where nothing actually intersects with each other, then yeah, that becomes too overstuffed. So I'd say, yeah, you could put Tom Holland in Raimi's movies and put in multiple villains if you really want to, but make sure that that they are all like going to the same goal. Darkwing Duck versus Daffy Duck. Daffy Duck probably has better Toon Force. That'd be my guess. What else we got? Oh shoot, hang on. I think I went down too far. Give me a second. Oh wow, yeah, we got a lot of questions. Jeez. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna try to do this faster because there's a lot of questions to get through. Who do you think Spider-Man should fight if he returns? Thematically, I think Ladybug is the best opponent for Spider-Man, but it's not really a too close of a fight. Spider-Man, again, is a hard one. He's like Wolverine. He's extremely unique. I'm just going to say Ladybug, but I'm sure that there are better opponents in terms of, like, how strong they each actually are. Also, do you think Gara versus Toph was accurate? I think they really didn't, like, do a good job of trying to factor in how the speed would work with Gara, because, yes, Toph could definitely, like, redirect the sand. I have no doubt about that, but I think, yeah, Toph, like, I think Toph is a little too slow to be able to do that reliably. So yeah, there is definitely a lot of good counters that Toph has for Gara, but it's really a matter of, is Toph, fast enough to be able to do that? Now what do we got? Green Loonturn I'd like to see in Who and Why. Yeah, that's, we'll see. Can Aang beat Danny or Danny beat Aang? I think in general, Aang has more power, but it's a matter, if Danny just stays in his intangible form or possesses Aang, then that could be an easy win for Danny. So Danny definitely has ways to beat Aang, but I think in general, Aang is just more powerful. I still like Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. Yes, absolutely. Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man is really cool. Hi, Steel Myers. How you doing? Jake versus Zuko, and love your predictions. Thank you. So Jake Long, I'm assuming, versus Zuko from Avatar. Remember they're talking about Jake like being like, equivalent to like 30 tons of TNT, whereas Zuko is around building level, but I think that was even just with the comet. I want to say Zuko is stronger than that. But in terms of them fighting, Jake does have a number of weak spots. They're both very well trained. They're definitely both very well trained. But I think Jake is faster in terms of, light speed, reaction speed. And I think he's probably more powerful. Yeah, I think, Zuko could probably misdirect the fire. That's actually a really tough one. That's a really interesting fight. I think Jake could probably pull it off, but I think either of them could really pull it off. If Rick from Rick and Morty joined Death Battle, who would he face? Maybe Dr. Doofenshmirtz. I don't know. Any sort of cartoon scientist, I think, would work really well. Congrats on 1.5K. Gotta go, though. I have online class, but congrats. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. What do we got next? Who will win Cat versus Ukura... Gravity Rush versus My Hero Academia. I don't even know. Uraraka, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. I don't know that much about that character, and I don't really know anything about Gravity Rush, so I can't really say. I'd be rooting for the My Hero Academia character because I know that more, but it's hard to say. What's your favorite soda? Dr. Pepper, absolutely Dr. Pepper. Which sucks because I can't. It's not very common in Canada, which is where I live. I'd have to get it from a convenience store or some select restaurants. So that really sucks. Nero from Devil May Cry. Okay, yeah, Nero from Devil May Cry. Mario could kick a castle, survive a giant explosion, and he has a lot of power-ups that could beat Rayman. Okay, yeah, I'm not trying to disagree that, Rayman would absolutely beat Mario. But, again, it's hard for me to tell. I think Hellboy might face Nero from Devil May Cry. Oh, okay, I see. Yeah. Actually, yeah, now that I think about it, I have seen that one talked about before. That would probably be the best opponent for Hellboy, yeah. What is your opinion on the fight Steven Universe versus Star Butterfly? Do you think it's a good fight, or are there better matchups? I think it's a good fight just because a lot of people talk about it, and I can see the similarities between them. Never watched either of the shows. Don't know how they would stack up to each other in terms of power. But honestly, I could very easily see this one becoming a death battle. So I think it's a good fight just based on the very limited knowledge that I know. But who knows? Maybe they do have better opponents. Did you know someone made an idea for a battle? That idea is Simon Belmont versus Ghost Rider. Okay, interesting. Ghost Rider, at his peak is like extremely powerful, and I don't know how powerful Simon is at his peak. That would be like, I only know Simon from Smash Brothers. Don't know that much about Castlevania. What else we got? Don't worry if you missed some of the questions, dude. Okay, yeah, I know. It's just we don't do these live streams very often, and like I try to get the questions. I try to answer as many questions as I can, and if I do miss something, I do really apologize. But yeah, I will try my best to get everything. If I miss something, again, if you really want the question or comment looked at, like just let me know down, or like, yeah, just comment it again. I still plan to make my own Pokemon movie in the future. That's awesome. I do have a question though. If Venom infected Iron Man, who would win? Iron Man or Venom Iron Man? Well, like, would Venom be able to like actually like affect the armor, or would he just affect Tony? Because if he just affected Tony, then he loses all that intelligence. If he like crawls into the armor and affects the human part, then yeah, like he would lose all that intelligence. So they're basically working with like the same stuff. So Iron Man would most likely win that one. But if you're somehow saying that, the Venom symbiote could actually like improve the Iron Man armor, and if that actually is something that is possible, then I don't know about that. But yeah, then probably Venom Iron Man is definitely harder to kill because you really need a weakness for that. I think either one has the potential to put the other one down though. I think Hellboy might face John Constantine from DC, but I would love to see who wins, Hellboy or Nero. Okay, definitely, absolutely. Magikarp is one of the weakest Pokemon ever. Okay, I understand that now. Magikarp versus Yamcha, probably Yamcha. A lot of people say, and even Caden, Magikarp is the weakest Pokemon to exist. Sorry, Magikarp versus Yamcha. If Magikarp is really that weak, Yamcha, he's a pushover in comparison to the other Dragon Ball characters, but I don't think he's that weak when you compare him to other characters. Shredder versus Deathstroke. I did this fight before, and I said I thought Deathstroke would win. That was before I knew about the whole, mutagen thing that Shredder has. I still think Deathstroke could pull it off. I do think he's more skilled. And if you were to just look at them, without using the mutagen, I think Deathstroke is more set up to win. He could even possibly beat Shredder before he gets the chance to use the mutagen. So I don't have too many regrets for saying that Deathstroke would win that fight. What's your prediction fights for the next season, since Ben said that it's going to be the anniversary season? I didn't even know he said that. I thought it was going to be like a big anniversary fight for the season finale because they started Death Battle in December 2010. So yeah, that's very interesting actually. That's why I thought, it might be Galactus versus Unicron, because it'd be like the big anniversary episode. But if it's an anniversary season, then I don't know. They might do Ruby versus Maka then, in order to honor Monty Oum. I could definitely see that. And, they might do other highly requested fights, like, say something like, what is it? Alex Mercer versus Cole McGrath. I could definitely see them doing that too. A question you missed. I asked, do you prefer Wolverine's classic costume? No, I answered that. I answered that question. Maybe things are cutting out, because I definitely answered that question. I said that, in live action, I understand that why they don't want to include the costume. But in terms of comics, I just prefer the standard Wolverine costume. What have we got now? Magikarp solos Marvel and DC because the tag is called Magikarp's Revenge. 100% agree. Remy for the win, baby. My favorite color question was mine. Okay, sorry about that, but I made sure to answer that. Again, if it was in case you missed it, green. Green is definitely my favorite color. What would be a good match for Yujiro Hanma? No idea who that is. Apologies, but I'm sure that they definitely do exist out there. Pegasus Seiya versus Sailor Moon. Sailor Moon is insanely powerful. And the only thing I know about Saint Seiya was like when I tried researching Hades on the off chance that it was going to be Beerus versus Hades. So I know that Hades is extremely powerful, but I think Pegasus, Seiya, is probably significantly below that. My gut says Sailor Moon would win that fight, but it's hard to say. I wish I had more knowledge on those characters. My three favorite colors are red, orange, and silver. Awesome. My three favorite colors are green is my number one, and then in terms of the other two, I flip flop back and forth between blue and red. I really shouldn't be having, like a list of favorite colors at my age, I feel, but I don't know. Punisher versus Snake, who would win? My gut says Snake, because I think the stealth could really help him there, but Punisher is he's a badass. He's insanely skilled. But Snake does have his CQC training. He's the closest thing to a super soldier you could get. So, and he has his own weaponry, he might even have more versatile weaponry. I don't know. I'm not too up to date with what Punisher has. My gut says Snake, but I could see either one winning. Who should Brightburn fight? I've heard a lot of people say Brightburn versus Homelander because they're both Superman live action inspired characters, which I could understand, but I'm not sure if I would really be interested in that because I don't know too many of those characters. And I've heard other opponents for Homelander that I think makes sense. I haven't heard too many opponents for Brightburn other than Homelander. So I would say that. What do you think needs an updated analysis from Death Battle? In terms of an updated analysis, in terms of new content being released, then I would definitely say, what is it? Master Chief versus Doomguy, because Doomguy has so many new things going for him, and that goes for a lot of different characters. But I've heard a lot of people say, oh, after this new Doom game came out, Doomguy would absolutely destroy Master Chief. I don't know how true that is, but I could definitely see that. But if you're just asking which fight I would like to see them do nowadays, not even with new content, but just what I would like to see them do with the standard Death Battle quality nowadays, absolutely either Luke Skywalker versus Harry Potter or Link versus Cloud, just because I really like those characters and I'd like to see them do it with the new level of quality. Mechtavirus Destroyer versus Devastator, Bakugan versus Transformers. Is Mechtavirus from Mectanium Surge? Because I did not watch Mectanium Surge really at all. In fact, I watched Battle Brawlers and Gundalian Invasion. That was the big one actually for me because it was just on when I woke up. So I don't know who Mechtavirus is really, unless I'm just blanking, unless that character is actually from a Bakugan show that I watch. But yeah, that's tough. Transformers characters, the very high-end Transformers characters can get very powerful, but I don't know exactly how powerful Devastator is. My guess would be Devastator, but I don't know. What do you think of the fight Steven Universe versus Percy Jackson? Totally understand it. That would be a very cool fight. But again, I don't really know exactly where the power differences lie, so I'm not sure. I still plan to make an animated movie crossover of DC and Marvel in the future. I think that's awesome. Definitely go for that. A while back, we talked about a fight you think would be Slaughter Kingpin versus Black Mask. You believe Mask has Fisk, correct? Well, I don't know about that because Kingpin is insanely strong. Again, he's one of those characters who's very very often been compared to Spider-Man in terms of strength. He's stronger than you think. But Mask does have weapons. I don't think Fisk is bulletproof or anything like that. I don't know. I want to say probably Fisk has that. In general, I don't think it's the best fight. I think that there are better thematic fights like that if you wanted to go more that route. Would you rather be in the Green Lantern Corps or have the Nova Force? Well, if you're talking about the full power of the Nova Force, just, I could have that, then that would make me insanely powerful. But I think a Green Lantern ring would just be more fun because I'm not going out and fighting anyone, Sorry. So while I think the Nova Force might be, extremely practical if I needed to save the world from some sort of alien threat, I think just practically for my own life, I think a Green Lantern ring would be better. For the recording, I'm assuming you're streaming for 2 hours. Yes, that's the plan. We've been streaming for 1 hour. God, I really hope I can catch up by the time we get to the end. I may just have to go rapid fire by the end of it all. We got 31 concurrent viewers. That's pretty awesome. Kamen Rider X8 versus Neptune. Again, two characters I've literally never heard of before. Bubsy is Infinity. All right. Mega Man versus Metal Sonic. I think Mega Man wins. Also, I wouldn't allow Metal to transform because that would make him too overpowered. See, that's the thing I don't really like about versus debates when people say things like that. This is just like 100% my opinion. But the thing is, like, when someone says, oh, a character should not be allowed this because, that just makes them too overpowered. But, like, realistically, if it's something that they have access to all of the time, why wouldn't they use it? Why couldn't they use it? At that point, that's just misrepresentation, trying to make a fight fair. And in my opinion, you shouldn't just be trying to make a fight fair. You should try to analyze the characters at their maximum potential, because at that point, that's really bordering on misrepresentation. But if you don't want to allow Metal to transform, yeah, probably Mega Man will win that fight. But again, I'm not too familiar with I am familiar with the characters, but not like to the point that like something like Death Battle would require, or even who'd win and why would require. But yeah, I would probably agree with that. Who do you think Godzilla should fight if he returns? I don't know. The best opponents I can think of for Godzilla are like characters that exist within his own world. So I don't know. That's pretty tough. Although I could definitely see Godzilla coming back. What are your overall thoughts on other Versus sites like Versus Battles Wiki or Comic Vine? Versus Battles Wiki is extremely unreliable. I don't like it. Sometimes I just look at that thinking like, maybe I could use this as a starting point, if I try to research characters. But even then, like when I look at like other things, like when I go further into research, I'm like, well, what the hell? Then what was Versus Battles Wiki saying? So I definitely don't like that one. And in terms of Comic Vine, I don't go there that often, but I still go there sometimes. And yeah, that one's not as unreliable. Again, sometimes it's just for a starting off point to get people's opinions on certain fights or on characters. But yeah, in general, I think it's just best to do your own research and just go from there. Do you watch the Nostalgia Critic? Not much, but I still know who he is, and I still like not the character. I still like the YouTuber well enough. Sorry about that. I mean, I've been talking for a while. If Mega Man X were to return to Death Battle, who'd he fight? Mega Man X. I once did a fight between Mega Man X and Blue Beetle, and I think that'd be interesting. But if Mega Man X were to return, you're going to need like a pretty strong character. I don't know. Like, off the top of my head, like, I know, like, a big fight that a lot of people have been talking about are, Zero versus Meta Knight. So that just makes me think, like, maybe Kirby versus Mega Man X. They both can copy things, after all, But I don't know. That's hard to say. Cosmic Ghost Rider versus Spawn. Probably Cosmic Ghost Rider would be able to take Spawn down. Raiden Mortal Kombat versus Zeus God of War. I have a feeling that Zeus would win. I think he's more portrayed to be that kind of like insanely powerful godlike character. So I would probably say Zeus, but I don't know for sure. Arceus versus Zed Millennium. That character, Pokemon versus Digimon. I'm assuming that Digimon character is like a godlike character, like how Arceus is. And I don't even know that much about Arceus anyway. My guess would be Arceus, but I really can't say for sure. Monica versus Yandere-chan. Again, like I don't really know those characters too well, so I can't say for sure. Are there any season 1 episodes you'd like to see remastered? Yeah, again, like Link versus Cloud or Luke versus Harry. Those would be the two ones definitely. Even if it's a rematch instead of a remastered, I would definitely like to see those ones redone. Rogue or Rouge, well, I guess that's trying to say Rogue. Rogue once took Thor's powers. Yes, I could definitely understand, Rogue can get very powerful, but again, like that's very plot constructed, and that's not Rogue's consistent level of power. Her consistent level of power is when she stole Ms. Marvel's early powers. So I definitely would not include Thor's powers in a battle between Rogue and Wonder Woman. I'm not trying to say that Rogue would not be able to steal Wonder Woman's powers, like it would be too much, but like if we're comparing the characters directly, then again, the Wonder Woman really wouldn't leave that opening. Bowser versus Eggman. I think Bowser would win. He's a bit more powerful. Yeah, I think his survivability level is a bit too much. So yeah, I would probably agree with that. Would you say you respect Superman while he's not your favorite? Absolutely. I absolutely respect Superman. I think he's a good character. I think he's a good inspiration for a lot of people. So I like that he exists in DC Comics. But yeah, he is not my favorite because he's too much of a Boy Scout. He's too much of an insanely powerful character just for the sake of it, Who'd win, Pegasus Seiya versus Sailor Moon versus Goku? Well, I already talked about Pegasus Seiya versus Sailor Moon, but just like again referring back to how they scaled, how Death Battle scaled Beerus and Sailor Galaxia to Goku and Sailor Moon respectively. I have a feeling Goku would win that one. I've been a huge Ruby fan for the past few months. Yes, I want to get back into it. It's a good show, or at least from what I've seen so far, it's a good show. I've heard some people say it's been on a decline, but I really want to get back into it. Are Goku and Superman too powerful? For the worlds that they're in, I'd say no. But for stuff like versus debating, I would say yeah. Because, yeah, just their worlds are too powerful. Or the DC world isn't even that powerful, like, not on average as the Dragon Ball world. But, you know, the characters, yeah, if you were to compare them to other characters in versus debates, most other characters, then yeah, I would say they're probably too powerful. If Rattata from Pokemon was in Death Battle, who'd he fight? Maybe Remy, but Remy would fight the one above all. But I think Rattata versus Yukari. I apologize if I'm butchering these names, by the way. But yeah. Again, like, I don't know these characters too much. I feel like I'm saying that a ton. I apologize. But that would probably be a cool fight. The last one you said. I think that'd be cool. Sonic the Hedgehog should do another game crossover like Mega Man. That would absolutely be awesome, yes. Archer versus Urza, Fate Stay versus Fairy Tail. Again, don't know that much about Archer. Better to just ask someone who knows more about these characters. Like, I know Urza quite well, but I don't know that much about Archer. I'd definitely be rooting for Urza, and I know she's extremely versatile. Do you play zombie games? No, not really. Not anything like a Dead Rising or Resident Evil, or even I played Plants vs. Zombies. There you go. But that's like really it. What version of Reality Stone, if MCU definite? No. I wasn't referring to the MCU Reality Stone, assuming that you're talking about the question I was talking about before with the Reality Stone versus all the stones. But like, yeah, of course, the MCU had to like lessen the stone's powers because then it just really wouldn't work in that world. But in the comics, like by definition, the Reality Stone is absolutely insane. If you had Lobo level regeneration, what would you do? Everything. I would do everything that's absolutely dangerous. Like if we're talking like my soul cannot be collected and I could just like literally come back to life from anything. I know I would have a high pain tolerance, but not like an insanely high pain tolerance, or not like, you know, a god-like level of pain tolerance. So I probably wouldn't do everything, but I would do like a lot. I'd probably put a gun to my head if I could find one. You know, I would just do everything that's dangerous. And yeah, if I could just regenerate myself, then that's perfect. Yeah, I could just do that. Would Darkseid DC have a chance to use Thanos' Infinity Gauntlet too? Well, it depends on what you mean by have a chance. Like, if Darkseid collected all the stones in the 616 universe, and he was in the 616 universe, then yes, he could absolutely use them. There'd be no problem with that. But, like, if somehow the stones got teleported to the DC world and Darkseid tried to use them, they only work in their home universe, so that would not be able to work. Space Stone teleported away from user. See, again, it's the kind of thing where each person, like the one person with the Reality Stone and the person with all the other stones, each one would be able to take out the other. It more so depends on the user and the reaction speed. See, again, like you have someone like with the Space Stone and the Time Stone, which could theoretically give you infinite reaction time or reaction speed. But then the Reality Stone should realistically be able to change reality to do that as well. Basically, what I'm saying is that the Reality Stone, by definition, really shouldn't, you know, have any sort of... It shouldn't have any... There's not too much that the other stones would be able to do that the Reality Stone shouldn't also be able to do. Because altering reality is everything, you know? At least that's the way I interpret it. If there's like some sort of comic that like definitively disproves that, then I could understand that. Out of Punisher versus Snake, who do you personally think wins? I think I answered this before. I would say probably Snake, but I could understand that. Power Stone overpower reality warping. I'm not sure if it works like that. The Power Stone is more so just directly tied to your strength and durability. But again, someone could use the Reality Stone to affect another character's strength and durability, but no one could use the Power Stone to affect another character's strength and durability. You know, the Reality Stone is just way more versatile and insanely powerful. So I'm not sure if that would work. Blue Beetle DC versus Max Steel. Most likely Blue Beetle, but I don't know that much about Max Steel. I've heard a lot of people say Blue Beetle wins just because the upper limits of his weapons are just too much. Who would win, Tom versus Jerry? Jerry, of course. Time Stone. Okay, of course there are ways to absolutely, take out the Reality Stone. But again, the Reality Stone just should be able to do whatever the other stones could do just by altering reality by definition. Goku versus Superman 3. I mean, if Death Battle were to do Goku versus Superman 3, they would just give it to Superman again because they're still going to go with the whole infinite power thing. If you're talking about, just them standardly, who would win between Goku and Superman on a normal day, then I think Goku has gotten too powerful at this point, most likely. But I don't know. Superman is still insanely powerful. Okay. I wish for Charizard to return to Death Battle 2. Yeah, I think that'd be cool, even though he's already been there twice. Who will win, Cory in the House or Shaggy? Shaggy is way too powerful. Ultra Instinct Shaggy would absolutely destroy anybody. Dante versus Kratos. Okay, listen. I've heard some extremely inconsistent things about Kratos. I actually tried researching him, and apparently the new game puts him at a ridiculously high level. In one of the new games, he is much more powerful than he's ever been portrayed to be. So that's tough. I think if those statements are true, then Kratos would win. But I think before that point, I would want to go with Dante because he's probably faster. He's got a ton of weaponry. That would probably be more than enough to take down Kratos. But that is an insanely tough fight just because, again, with Kratos, I don't know exactly where his power lies. Along with Shadow the Hedgehog. Again, Shadow's already been there twice. I know he did lose twice. You could theoretically bring him back. But there you go. Bubsy is an infamous video game character who was a ripoff of Sonic and Mario, okay, fair enough, and was the main star of Bubsy 3D, which was considered one of the worst video games ever. Okay, I have no problem believing that. That makes a lot of sense, actually. Bowser should fight Zavok from Sonic the Hedgehog. Am I even pronouncing that correctly? Yeah, that could definitely happen. Doesn't Jerry always win, essentially? Or, yeah, usually win. Yeah, I would say that Jerry would win. Congrats on 1.5K. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. If Sentry Marvel was in a death battle, who would he face? Of course, you could just say Superman, because, there are a lot of Superman rip-off characters, essentially, but a lot of them come from Marvel. Or they would be someone like Homelander or Brightburn, Brandon Byers. And Sentry would destroy basically all of them. So I would probably say Superman, but even then, I don't know if I'd want to see Death Battle do that fight. It's hard to say. Say Beetlejuice 3 times. No, I know better than that. Loadouts for both. Okay. I have an idea. Who will win? Sakura versus Ahsoka. Is that a great battle? How powerful is Sakura again? If you want to scale Ahsoka to those higher end Jedi, then that could be a problem because Naruto characters are strong, but they're not Legends comics strong. So, I just got a new Gmail. I will look at that later. But yeah, if you're using Legends scaling, then Ahsoka would probably win. Dinah Lance, hi, how you doing? Are you familiar with characters from Watchmen or the Wildstorm comics? Wildstorm, I don't think so, and Watchmen only vaguely. I haven't seen the movie, even though, again, like Scott Pilgrim, I really want to see that movie. I know some of the characters, I know some of what they're about. I know the most about Dr. Manhattan, but other than that, I don't really know too much. And I know some stuff about Rorschach, too. Those are, the biggest characters I know about. Although I did read, I thought I was going to be reading Watchmen for a school thing, but I ended up choosing V for Vendetta instead, also by Alan Moore, and that was really good. I do want to read Watchmen at some point and probably see the movie too, even though I haven't heard the best things about it. Predator versus Arbiter from Halo. I'm not sure. I did research the Predator a very long time ago. He's got some good stuff, but I don't know. It's hard to say. I don't know that much about Arbiter. Do you think Krona versus Volcarona is better than Krona versus Venom? P.S. I think Volcarona has the fire to light a star. Well, I think if Volcarona is that powerful, probably Volcarona would win. But I don't know. I don't really know much about that character. So, That could definitely be a cool fight. I think it would be better than Krona versus Venom just because I don't like the idea of Krona versus Venom. Skinny Mario versus Fat Luigi. Thanks, Drake. Thanks so much. If you really want an answer from me, probably Fat Luigi. Do you think the Mask could beat Bugs and Mickey? I definitely think Mask could beat Mickey. In terms of Bugs, my guess would be no, because I think they have like very similar powers, but I think Bugs just, he's able to become the animator. I think that more over the top stuff is more just, you know, in his natural power set. I think that either one could beat the other if you wanted to go that route, like if like for like a hypothetical kind of fight. But if you're looking at what they've shown off, I'd want to say Bugs. The only way to kill Pennywise for good is the ritual, which without prep time, Slenderman wouldn't win. Well, see, that's the thing though. The thing about the ritual is that, what is the ritual used for? The ritual is used to take away, like, it mentally and physically removes your fear. So it's not really the ritual itself, in my opinion, that actually takes out Pennywise. It's more the fear thing. And the only way for normal humans to be able to do that, yes, is through the ritual of Chewed. But for Slenderman, it's rendered meaningless. It's not necessary for him because he doesn't feel any fear. Because the ritual of Chewed is so tied to, you know, taking away fear, it doesn't really apply to Slenderman. It's almost as if he already did it. It's a very interesting case because, again, Slenderman doesn't feel fear, and there are very few characters like that. But again, that's my interpretation. If you have a very different interpretation, absolutely fine. That's just the way that I interpret it. And I know that one, you know, there's definitely some varying opinions on that. Who would be a good opponent for Dr. Manhattan from Watchmen? I don't know, because at the moment we don't really know his maximum power. He's definitely above Mr. Miggs' Pitlick, because Mr. Miggs' Pitlick, who's from the 5th dimension, has said that he's far above him. So he's definitely like somewhere like the 6th, 7th, maybe 8th, or even higher dimension. So I don't know, maybe Genie from Aladdin, but even then I don't think he's like a higher dimensional character. You really need someone more higher dimensional. Maybe Q from Star Trek. Even though other than like being higher dimensional, they don't really have that much in common. Do you watch or heard of Superpower Beatdown from Bad in the Sun? I used to watch Bad in the Sun a lot more earlier, like when I was younger. I'm not really too into Bad in the Sun anymore, but I have heard of them and I think their work is really good. What is your favorite and least favorite Death Battle episode in each season? Okay, let's try this for a second. My favorite in season 1, I'm going to try to go as fast. Oh, sorry, microphone. I'm going to try to go as fast as I can for each thing. So for season 1, I'd want to say Batman vs. Spider-Man is my favorite, and my least favorite is Rogue vs. Wonder Woman. For season 2, my favorite is Wolverine vs. Raiden. And my least favorite, what would be my least favorite from season 2? I'm trying to think back to like my least favorite video, like my worst death battle videos, or I guess no, my least favorite from season 1 would be Starscream versus Rainbow Dash. There are a few from season 1 I don't like. You know what, actually I'm just gonna go with my favorites for right now because it's just gonna take too long. But yeah, it would be for 1 it would be Batman versus Spider-Man. For 2 it would be Wolverine versus Raiden. For 3 it would be, shoot, what fights are in season 3? It might be Dante versus Bayonetta. I don't know. I thought that one was a good one. For season 4, it would be Naruto versus Ichigo. For season 5, it might be Doctor Strange versus Dr. Fate. I like the way they did that. And for season 6, well, season 6 is a bit of a weird season in general. I thought All Might versus Might Guy was good. But I have a feeling if I like looked at all this, maybe Ghost Rider versus Lobo. I thought that one was good too. And then for season 7 so far, it's Obi-Wan Kenobi versus Kakashi. Sorry, I know like you asked about the least favorites as well, but I don't want to spend too much time on one question because we still got a long way to go. Bane with no Venom versus Kingpin. I'd probably say Kingpin. Even with the Venom, Kingpin is like insanely strong, so I would say Kingpin without the Venom. Ultraman versus Jet Jaguar. So Ultraman from Ultraman versus Godzilla. Hard to say. I know Ultraman is very powerful, but again, I'm not even sure if I've heard of Jet Jaguar. I know some characters in the Godzilla universe, but I'm not sure if I've heard of that character. Patrick Star versus Goofy. Patrick is an idiot, and I'm not sure if he's shown the same capabilities with Toon Force as SpongeBob has. If he has, then I'd say Patrick would win. But if not, I would say Goofy would win. Do you think Cloud Strife Final Fantasy should return to Death Battle 2? Personally, I'd like to see Cloud fight Link again, whether it's a rematch or a remastered. But if he were to come to Death Battle again, I could definitely see that. I really like Cloud, so yeah, I would like to see him come back. And if I were to see him come back, I would probably maybe Shulk. I think he'd be a fun. I think it'd be a fun fight. Maybe Avengers shouldn't have stopped Thanos. He could have prevented our current crisis, if you know what I mean. Well, yeah, what's better, COVID or death? Hard to say. Well, I mean, COVID will cause death for some people. I really shouldn't be joking about that. Man, it's a crazy time we're living in. I hope this stream is kind of like a good distraction from that. The only two villains I hate are Joker and Doomsday. I actually personally like both of them quite a lot, but if you hate them, I totally understand. Who's smarter, Batman or Iron Man? If you're talking strictly IQ levels, then from one of the sources I remember, Batman is listed at 192, whereas Iron Man is listed at 195. So by that logic, Iron Man is smarter, but I'd want to say overall Batman is a better strategist. Who would win? Tails from Sonic versus Donatello from Ninja Turtles. How fast is Tails, though? Because I'm trying to think, like, could you reasonably scale him to Sonic? I don't think you could scale him to Sonic's best feats. But I'd want to say he's past the speed of sound. But I think that Donatello would have the the reaction speed to be able to keep up with that. And if you're giving them a lot of technology, then they're kind of on even playing field there. My guess would be Donatello, but I don't know. I heard a good matchup for Punisher is the comedian from Watchmen. Okay, yes, I've heard that before. They're both war veterans turned vigilantes with a ton of weapons in their arsenal and fight superhumans on a daily basis. Yeah, no, absolutely. I think that would be a cool fight. My favorite episodes in each season are 1 Link versus Cloud, 2 Terminator versus RoboCop, 3 Ratchet and Clank versus Jack and Daxter, really like that one, yes. Balrog versus TG Combo, yes, really good. Mario vs. Sonic 2018, yes. And Season 6, Johnny Cage versus Captain Falcon. Season 7, Goro versus Machamp. Absolutely, I can definitely understand those picks. Those are all good fights. Bubsy is a top-tier reality warper. I'm sure like Bugs Bunny level of reality warping, and he is a fourth wall breaker. Okay, good to know. Dexter's Laboratory versus Jimmy Neutron. I don't really want to give my opinion on that because that may or may not be considered for Who and Why Season 12. So yeah, I'm just going to skip over that one. But yeah, just be on the lookout for that, possibly. Who knows? Samurai Jack versus Leonardo. Samurai Jack has got some crazy speed, like 70% the speed of light, whereas we're talking Leonardo would have like lightning speed, reaction speed, which is not 70% the speed of light. It's not even 50% the speed of light. And in terms of strength, I think we've seen Leonardo pull off better strength feats, like in terms of lifting strength, but I'm not sure if Leonardo actually has the means to overpower Samurai Jack's crazy durability unless he uses his sword. I would probably say Samurai Jack if I had to guess, but that's actually a pretty close fight. Again, like I like to do more research on fights like this, before I make any sort of big claim. So take everything I say with a grain of salt, of course. What is your favorite Power Rangers show? The 2 Power Rangers shows that I watched most often when I was young, just because it was on, were Power Rangers Overdrive and Power Rangers Jungle Fury. I watched a bit of RPM. I know these are more obscure, but those are the ones I watched. I would probably say Jungle Fury was the one I got most invested in. Oh, just to get out of the way with your thing against symbiote fights and who and why. Well, again, I don't really think this is the kind of thing that really like needs to be officially said because of the kind of thing that, I'll just choose the fights that I want and won't choose the fights that I don't want, But yeah, in general, I just don't like using symbiote fights for who and why anymore. Just because, again, like when you use a symbiote fight, it's very linear. It's very boring. All you have to do is figure out, whether a character has a way to exploit a weakness for a symbiote, and if they can keep up physically. Those are literally the only questions you have to ask yourself. So I just don't really like doing those fights anymore. Would you rather have Scorpion or Kraven the Hunter as the villain for the 3rd MCU Spider-Man film? Well, see, that's the thing. I like Scorpion more than Kraven the Hunter. And I think Scorpion is going to be one of those characters, like if they bring Vulture back, he might be one of those characters like working with him. So I think just in order, for like a main villain, I think Kraven works better. But my God, I want to see Scorpion in a villain, not a villain, in a movie. Iroh versus Dumbledore, I'm not really sure. Dumbledore's quite powerful by wizard standards, but I'm not sure how he compares to other characters. Because as we've seen with Luke versus Harry, sometimes being a wizard isn't enough. Alex Mercer versus Cole McGrath. I would need to do more research on that. I've heard a lot of people say Cole, but I don't really know why. Although Alex Mercer is very damn hard to kill, from what I understand. So there you go. I still wanted Carnage to win. I would have preferred to see Carnage to win. Carnage is my second favorite Spider-Man villain after Green Goblin, and he's just one of my favorite Marvel villains, or maybe even Marvel characters of all time. How would you feel if someone from YouTube, like Angry Video Game Nerd, came to Death Battle, or someone else who is a persona? I think that'd be interesting. It's not really something that I've thought too much about. But you know, I could understand the appeal for that. So yeah, that would be a very interesting change of pace. Carnage versus Darth Maul. I mean, Carnage could regenerate from a lot of what Darth Maul does, but like, again, you know, if we're scaling Darth Maul to like those Legends characters with like planetary levels of power, I want to say that, you know, if the Force is really that powerful, could he just like completely pull the symbiote out of Carnage's bloodstream? It would have to be very precise, but I think you have the potential to do it. If we're just looking at, you know, normal Darth Maul, like from the movies, it'd be tough because, again, he's not nearly as powerful, and Carnage is just so damn hard to kill. If you had the Iron Man suit, what would you do first? Fly around until the suit broke down. Honestly, I think flying around that suit would be cooler than anything else. Like, again, shooting like energy beams, like repulsor blasts, would be cool. But in a world where you don't have to fight, anybody, I think just flying around would be awesome. So yeah, there you go. What about Toxin versus Lucy? Well, Toxin I think is supposed to be stronger than Carnage because it's a pretty like well-established thing that the offspring of the symbiote is stronger than the other one. So I think Toxin has a better chance. But again, if he's weak to fire and like heat and stuff like that, and Lucy has the potential to put him down, I think Lucy could probably win that fight. Though I'm not sure if there was a death battle, if Lucy would definitely win that fight. Do you agree with Multiverse plus Minecraft Steve? Don't really have an opinion on that, although I've seen a lot of people pen him as that, so there's got to be like some solid reasoning for it. In all honesty, I'm curious how the order is going to go for how each super dying. Yeah, I'm assuming you're referring to Bizarro versus Cyborg Superman versus Ultraman versus Superboy Prime. Yeah, it's actually very interesting how everything comes together, and you know, the order of everything. I'm trying to be like super protective of like the order, like, you know, who wins, who comes in second, who comes in third, who comes in fourth. But yeah, like definitely that's definitely something that to be excited for, to see how that all plays out. Which movie do you look forward to next year when COVID-19 is finally gone? The fact that they've, you know, now delayed the Marvel slate back really makes me miss Marvel. It really does. So I definitely like Black Widow is the one I really want to see. Goku versus Steve in creative mode. Steve for the win. Batman versus Daredevil. I think Batman is more suited to win that. I think he's just got more going for him. He's fought characters like Daredevil all the time, and I know Daredevil has too, like fought characters like Batman. But even the fact that, you know, Nightwing is comparable to Daredevil, I think that Batman would be able to do it. Black Widow versus Black Canary for DBX. I think that would be very cool. Force and Lightning. Thank you. Okay, so this is all the way back for when I asked about the score for Obi-Wan Kenobi versus Kakashi. Thank you so much, by the way, for telling me that. And even, yeah, Obi-Wan versus Kakashi's score is Force and Force Lightning, I believe. I believe it's Force and Lightning. But yeah, thank you guys. I appreciate that. So I'm probably very far behind with everything. What have we got next? And the Winter Soldier versus Red Hood death battle live up to what you're expecting, or do you think they could have done more? There are some parts of their reasoning that are a little iffy for me at the very end of the fight, and I would have preferred seeing them, go more into exactly how strong they are. I understand why it's not necessary for Red Hood versus Winter Soldier. I just would have liked to see it, but the actual fight sequence was very good, so I think it definitely lived up to my expectations overall. I think I might have been in a bad mood when I first watched it because I was kind of underwhelmed or at least that's what I said, but I think it was a good fight. Charizard, I'm sure, is multi-star level, being able to survive Arceus Judgment. Again, I'm not sure how reliable that scaling is, but I can't really say for sure. Denzel Crocker certainly has the durability to win. God knows how many times... God knows how many times his body stretches every time he freaks out about fairy godparents. Very true. Something I did not consider. My least favorite death battle episodes are Season 1 Pikachu versus Blanca, Season 2 Goku versus Superman, 2, Season 3, Bowser versus Ganon, Season 4, Sub-Zero versus Glacius, Season 5, Black Panther versus Batman, Season 6, Captain Marvel versus Shazam, Season 7, Black Canary versus Sindel. Totally understand those picks, and personally, Black Canary versus Sindel, as of right now, is also my least favorite Season 7 fight. Okay, I'm gonna go down again. Okay, wait, hang on, we need to go back up. Jesus Christ, we have a ton of... Holy crap, I didn't even notice how many questions we still have. Give me a second, I'm trying my best to go back up. Okay, I think I'm going to have to pick up the pace because we only have half an hour on this stream. Oh my god. Hang on a second, I think... I'm just trying to make sure I'm getting back to where I was because the chat kind of refreshed. Okay, I think we're getting back up to where I was. Archie Sonic should have won. I don't know. I understand both of the characters, how powerful they are. Okay, I'm going to try to go as fast as I can, okay? Because there is so much we have to get through. And yeah, definitely, ease up on the questions if you don't have any, more burning questions, because I just want to make sure I can catch up. Because I'm worried I'm going to have to stop the stream before I can even get through everyone's questions. I feel Dr. New versus Mr. Crocker is like Iron Man versus Lex Luthor. I can definitely see that. I'm in the G1 Death Battle fan blog, okay, I understand. I'm not too familiar with that, but they seem pretty accurate to me. Would you be interested in seeing a sequel to Detective Pikachu? I've actually never seen Detective Pikachu, the movie, but if I did see it, I'm sure I would like to see more. Who wins in Spider-Verse Battle Royale? Miles, Gwen, Penny, Noir, Ham. I think probably Miles would be able to pull it off. Captain Planet should appear in Death Battle. Not too familiar with Captain Planet, but that would probably be cool. Toph lacking the speed and destructive capability compared to Gaara. Well, yeah, overall, yeah, she's just not up to par with Gaara. Blake from Movie versus Mikasa from Attack on Titan. I'm not really sure. I know more about Blake, and even then I'm not caught up. I've heard a lot of people say Mikasa would win that, but I don't know. It's hard to say. Ruby is very over the top. Danny probably beats Aang. Not really much for Aang to beat him besides energy bending. Okay, that's pretty fair. I'll also agree with Galactic vs. Unicron on the same idea for music of that battle, Galaxy Deception, and I don't know who would win. Yeah, that's a tough one. Good track name, by the way. Sonic, no, not Sonic, Simon the Digger versus Kyle Rayner. I know Kyle Rayner is an extremely powerful Green Lantern, but I don't know how powerful Simon the Digger is in order to make a good judgment on that. Bender versus Rick, I'm not really sure. Who do you think Kingpin would fight in a death battle? Also, hello. Who do I think Kingpin would fight? I don't know. See, that's because you want some sort of crime boss. Oh, actually, I think there is there is a DC crime boss I've heard some people pair Kingpin up with, but I don't know his name at the moment. Just look up Kingpin versus, and I'm sure it'll be there. Sorry, I'm gonna butcher the name. I don't know who this character is. I don't know who they would fight in Death Battle. Mortal Kombat Ninjas Battle Royale, Sub-Zero versus Scorpion versus Reptile versus Ermac versus Smoke. Well, I mean, Scorpion can't really easily die unless you have something more spiritual. I don't know much about the other characters, so my guess right there would be Scorpion. Who could Springtrap fight if he got in Death Battle? I don't know. Five Nights at Freddy's is tough because I don't know how you scale those characters. I don't know how powerful they are. Maybe just some sort of Fox character if you want to do like a joke fight. Ripley versus some character from Pokemon who I'm not too familiar with. I don't know. Hard to say. Although I know Ridley is like. Oh yeah, it's Ridley, or is it Ripley? I don't know. Either way, it's hard to say. My future goal is to be rich from making movies, TV show, video games. What's your future goal? Just to be happy, to be surrounded by people that I love, and just to do things that are fulfilling to me. Not necessarily what makes me the most money, but just the things that are fulfilling to me. Blaze versus Azula, Sonic versus Avatar The Last Airbender. My guess would be Blaze, but I don't know. How about Hellboy versus John Constantine? I think that'd be a cool fight. Raymond could punch a Tennessee into orbit. Is that supposed to be a tennis ball? I don't know. Constantine is OP as AF. Yes, that's true. Who do you think Anti-Monitor should fight? The big one is Galactus for Anti-Monitor, but other than that, like, you could try to find like an outer-versal character for Anti-Monitor, and I'm just not too up to date with who would be a good match for him. Green Lantern versus Nova should happen in DB and 3D. I think that would be a cool fight, yes. Maybe Jon Stewart versus Nova if they wanted to switch it up. Espio versus Greninja. I think Greninja would maybe win. Maybe, again, it's hard for me to say. I know more about Espio. Clockwork Highlander versus you. In a fight? I don't know. I respect the dude. He's a really cool guy. I've seen some of his predictions before, and some of his other videos before, but him versus me, I don't know. I don't like to toot my own horn, so I'm going to say that he would win. If Ms. Marvel to face off in a fight, this beat Deku. If Ms. Marvel off, this fight beat Deku, okay. So apparently Venom has a better chance of winning against Chrono because of his newest power-ups. Yeah, I don't know how they're gonna incorporate that, because what I find with Death Battle is like they try to analyze characters in a way that they won't get outdated, so like they won't. That's the reason why they didn't give Dr. Manhattan powers to Wally, even though does he still have them in the comics? I don't know. But the point is, like, they want to make a fight that even if you were to watch it like years later, you could come back and, it would still make sense to you. So if even like a new power up, if it's temporary or if it's implied to be temporary, they might not include that. So it's hard to say. I don't know what they're going to do. Not counting your own characters, who would you say is your favorite character from the Lynxie series currently? Love to hear your thoughts. Again, I'm trying to go through this quickly, but I would probably say I like Lynxie. I think Lynxie's cool. Catwoman versus Black Widow. I would want to say Black Widow, but that's tough. Magikarp is Hyperversal Plus. If Death Battle were to give you the opportunity to make your own battle, what would it be? Well, again, I want to see Galactus versus Unicron happen in Death Battle. What else would I like to see? I'd like to see them do Ruby versus Maka as well. I know they're both confirmed to happen, but yeah. Who is the fastest fictional character in your opinion? Anybody with incalculable speeds. Because, there is Mega Man.exe who had that insane speed feat, but like, attributing a number to someone like Flash or Archie Sonic is a lowball in and of itself. So just anyone with incalculable speeds or anyone that's omnipresent. There is a character called Sela Allen from DC who merged with the Speed Force and essentially is the Speed Force, even though Wally West also outran the Speed Force. So, anyone in that realm. Scorpion versus Cinder. I think Scorpion wins. Yeah, Scorpion would probably win that fight. I like Ryan Reynolds. I think other movie stars voicing Pokemon too, like Dwayne Johnson as Snorlax maybe. That would be pretty cool. I want to see Sonic in Death Battle Season 8. They might be able to bring it back. I don't know. 10 years of Death Battle. Awesome. Yes, absolutely. Can Spider-Man beat Team Ruby by himself? Well, I want to say, because some people have been saying, Spider-Man versus Ruby, and I'd want to say Spider-Man would beat Ruby just on like a one-on-one fight. In terms of all of Team Ruby, it would be overwhelming for him, but I think he has a chance to take him down. That's a tough one. Who will win, Thomas the Tank Engine or Ernie from Sesame Street? I want to say Thomas just runs him over. I don't know. Thomas is pretty insane. And without Bert by Ernie's side, what does Ernie have? What other anime can be live action movies? I'm thinking Yu-Gi-Oh! I think honestly turning anime into live action movies is a bit of a risky move in and of itself. But yeah, I think that could be a cool thing to try. Do you think Aaron Black versus McCree would fit for a live action fight? Based on what I know about the characters, yeah, I think that'd be a cool live action fight to do. Do you have the next season schedule ready or waiting till season 11 is done? I have most of the fights for season 12 of Who'd Win and Why. And I have a good order for it already, but I may still change some things around. It depends on if I get some new fights later. like before I finalize things. The Marvel and DC crossover would make it almost billions. I know it. It would be a huge event. Scarlet Witch versus Atrocitus. I mean, Scarlet Witch normally, I don't know. Normally that's hard, but if you were talking like them at their maximum, Scarlet Witch is practically unbeatable. If you had one quirk from My Hero Academia, who would it be? See, like I like Todoroki, but his quirk could be kind of dangerous. So I don't know. Maybe the All for One quirk. I know it's generic, but it's cool. What is the best opponent for Punisher? Yeah, someone like Solid Snake or Red Hood, I would probably say would be the best opponent for Punisher. Juggernaut versus Doomsday. Neither of them can really die by just like normal attacks. So that one's honestly probably a stalemate. I was actually thinking about doing that as a who and why fight until I realized, you know, how unkillable these guys are. I thought it would just be too difficult to really put a good answer to it if one character were to win. Hello, how are you? I'm good. How are you? Composite Team Ruby versus Furret in his God State. Maybe Furret. Again, hard to say. My legs are killing me. I've been sitting in this one state for like so long now. Okay, guys, I'm really sorry. I feel like I'm not going to be able to get to all the questions. What else we got? Perhaps Anti-Monitor versus Beyonder. Not sure because Anti-Monitor is a multiversal killer. Yeah, that might be an interesting fight. Beyonder is a very cool character. Martian Manhunter versus Vision. Absolutely, Martian Manhunter would win. I hope to see Martian Manhunter in DC live-action movies too. Yes, definitely. Anti-Monitor versus Living Tribunal. Yep, that could be cool. Bakugan versus Beyblade. In terms of which one I like more, I've only watched Bakugan, so I would say that. What else we got? Bill Cipher or Discord? I don't know. Maybe Bill Cipher. Or maybe Discord. It's hard to say for me. Master Ball versus the most powerful character in fiction. Like, as in, could the Master Ball, like, from Pokemon catch the most powerful character in fiction? The most powerful character in fiction would be omnipotent. So they could just say, no, Master Ball, you can't catch me. Yu-Gi-Oh! Versus Duel Masters. Not really sure. Out of Sailor Moon's 3 most requested matchups, who do you think she would fight first? Pegasus Seiya, Madoka, or Sakura? Probably Pegasus Seiya would be my guess, but I don't know. I don't know what's really requested in the grand scheme of things. I'll give you one example why Magikarp is just one of the weakest Pokemon. He's just a fish, and his main move is Splash, which doesn't even hurt the opponent. Fair enough. I'm not Veltric, am I pronouncing that correctly? Versus Pegasus. Not sure. Don't really know those characters very well. Ryu versus Liu Kang. Probably Ryu. Do you think another Mortal Kombat and DC crossover game needs to happen? Yeah, I'd like to play another one of those games. I actually never played a game before that crossed those characters over, so I'd like to see a new one. Yeah. Luke Cage should appear in Death Battle 2. If they found a good opponent for him, yeah, I would agree. Who would win between But those characters, don't really know who they are. Pegasus versus Drago. Maybe Pegasus. I know Drago more. That's hard to say. Favorite Will Smith movie? Mine is iRobot. I like Men in Black. But what have I seen Will Smith in recently? I saw iRobot. But I think I like Men in Black more than that. It wouldn't be Suicide Squad or anything. So yeah, I'd probably say Men in Black for right now. Atrocitus versus Red Hulk. I feel like Atrocitus could probably find a way to win because Green Lanterns and Red Lanterns are like insanely powerful. You know, whether or not you agree with Ben 10 versus Green Lantern, like you can't deny that they're insanely powerful. Red Hulk versus Grey Hulk. I don't know. Grey Hulk is like just really a very inexperienced Hulk, so probably Red Hulk. Sinestro versus Magneto. That's a tough one, but probably Sinestro. Magikarp stomps the entirety of the DC universe, of course. I don't know if Yu-Gi-Oh! Can be in a death battle because they had many cards that they can't predict each card they had. Okay, that's fair. Godzilla versus certain Pokemon. If you could find a good enough Pokemon, I think that could work. Some G.I. Joe characters should also appear in death battle, yes. Jesus Christ versus my atheist dad. Drake, get off this. No, I'm joking. Okay, sorry of my misrepresentation. I just think it's going to be a better fight, but I respect your opinion. Also, I made a music suggestion. The music's called Sonic Robots. Okay, that's awesome. And yeah, it's just, you can have your own opinions on how to do versus debates. I just personally think it's better to put the characters at their best rather than just really trying to put it as what is it? To put it as a fair fight, because at that point people could just get upset. It's my brother's birthday. Okay, tell your brother I wish him a happy birthday. DBX idea, Kratos versus Guts from Berserk. I think that would be a cool DBX. How would you not like to see the planet end? To be fair, you may not be alive for that, but how do you not want to see it end? Anything that's extremely painful and slow. I don't want to get talking to like the overall mechanism, but like, yeah. Who do you think Iron Fist would fight? Maybe Natsu? Just like someone who's like really a really skilled fighter and has like some energy attacks. So that's hard to say. I'm joking about Magikarp stops the entire DC universe. It's obvious that I can never take characters like Magikarp seriously. Yes, of course. Sly Cooper versus Rouge the Bat. That one's a tough one. I'm not sure. That one was also one actually that I was thinking potentially for season 12. But that one I kind of have as a back burner right now. So I don't know. I don't want to get into that one too much either. No promises though that one's going to be in season 12 of Who, When, and Why. But it's a possibility. So I don't want to get too much into that right now. And honestly, I've heard so many different viewpoints on that fight that I wouldn't even be able to tell you. How you think they'll do Black Panther 2 without Chadwick? Some say Shuri will be the new Black Panther. Others don't want that. I think Shuri should be the new Black Panther, honestly. I think that's the best way to do it. Chucky or Slappy? Chucky. Just my opinion. Wonder Woman would also have a chance to pick up Thor's hammer, do you think? Well, in a crossover, I think she did. And I think it's possible. But like, a lot of people try to say like, oh, could this person pick up Thor's hammer? Could this person pick up Thor's hammer? When realistically, the point of Thor's hammer is that the vast majority of the time, he's the only one that can pick it up. So I don't know. Those kinds of questions I think get a little repetitive because most of the time the answer is just going to be no. If you could work on Death Battle, which Death Battle would you like to work on? If they did Electro versus Livewire, I'd like to help out with that one because I have a good grasp on those characters, I feel. If a Red Ranger Battle Royale were to happen, what Rangers would you choose 5 max? I don't know the Red Rangers. I don't know a ton of them to a good enough degree. Really, the only ones I remember are, again, the one from the normal one, like Jason Lee Scott, or and then also Casey from Jungle Fury, and then also the one from Overdrive and the one from RPM. I know there are more, I just don't really know who they are. What's your favorite cartoon show? It was Teen Titans. If you're talking about like currently, I don't watch too many cartoons anymore. It's mostly just like live action shows actually, which is kind of sad. What if they do Archive Knuckles versus Goku Black? I think that's supposed to be Archie Knuckles, and I don't know. I want to say Archie Knuckles could win that one. Skipper versus Perry. I think Skipper because he can say the N-word because Obama gave him an infinite N-word pass. I actually did this fight before on my own Versus series, and when I took it seriously. I said Perry, but I could see like a very I can make a very good argument, or I could see someone making a very good argument for Skipper winning. I feel Slappy would slap Chucky. Yeah, when I said Chucky, that was just a joke. Like, just wanted to say that for the sake of saying it. Lucario versus Iron Fist. Yeah, that could be an interesting fight. Don't really know who wins there. Who is your favorite Slinger apart from Peter Parker minus Spider-Gwen? Yeah, I like Spider-Gwen, but I also really like Miles. I've grown to really respect Miles, so probably him. Would you be interested in seeing a zombie movie in the future, though? Possibly. What is your least favorite Naruto character? Least favorite? I don't know. Maybe Sakura. I don't know. That's tough. Shao Kahn versus Akuma. Probably Akuma. How's this for a zombie movie? The Cold of the Dead, PG-13. That sounds awesome. Lobo versus Deadpool. I feel like Lobo's more likely to win that one. Beerus versus Darkseid. From what I know, Beerus can't actually touch Darkseid's true form unless Hakai can somehow affect it. If Hakai can actually kill the true form without actually like even interacting with it, then Beerus could win. But then again, Darkseid is still insanely powerful. He could just keep making avatars. If Beerus can't affect Darkseid's true form, then Darkseid would definitely win. My brother's 16 today. Well, again, yeah, tell him I wish him a happy birthday. My least favorite Naruto character is Danzo. Okay, that's fair. I think when Darkseid and Thanos fuse together, they both can use the Infinity Gauntlet and the Anti-Life Equation as one big power. Again, assuming that they're in the Marvel universe, yes. If a Transformer transformed with a human inside, would they easily be able to do it without harming the human, or would it be gory? Might be gory, I have a feeling. Scarlet Witch versus Atrocitus. Again, I already answered this. I think Scarlet Witch. Who will win, Travis Touchdown or Scott Pilgrim? Again, I don't know that much about Travis Touchdown or Scott Pilgrim, honestly. I think I've heard some people say Travis Touchdown will win, but I don't know. Superman versus Sentry. Sentry can't really die. He can only die if he chooses to. So by that point alone, I say Sentry. Team Rocket's Meowth versus Lancer. Don't really know. What else we got? Okay, say if they had the reality and your brother had the other 5, Ryan, who would be the one standing if it's dependent on the person? Honestly, I think I'd probably win that one just because I've done a lot of research on the stones and I know exactly how they work. So I feel like I have the upper hand there. But again, I'm not trying to toot my own horn there. Who do you think is the worst Death Battle debunker? I'm thinking Seth the Programmer. I don't look into Death Battle debunks very much, but I know some people have criticized him before. Two-Face DC versus Jigsaw Marvel. Don't know that much about Jigsaw, so I can't really say. BS9 Cat beats 100% Shaggy. Okay, sure. Seth got better, though. I don't really like him. Okay, fair enough. Do you watch Rye Guy Rocky's channel? No, I don't. Actually, I don't really know who that guy is. I might have seen his name be said before, but I don't know. Walter versus Shaggy. Shaggy. I'm just going to say Shaggy. I'm always going to say Shaggy. Rambo versus John McClane from Die Hard. I don't know. Like, Rambo is definitely physically stronger, but I want to say John McClane could just shoot him. Sentry versus Superboy Prime. I would say Superboy Prime would win that one. You just said Beetlejuice 3 times. Did I? Have I said that? Okay. Do you agree Spider-Man winning in Batman versus Spider-Man? Oh yeah, absolutely. Spider-Man's physical abilities are just too much for Batman to keep up with. What if we had a Superman who's powered by the Infinity Stones? Would that be cool to see? It would make him more overpowered, but yeah, like as a temporary thing, yeah, it'd be cool to see. What if we had a Superman who is powered by the Infinity Stones? Would that be cool to see? Would you like to see Yu-Gi-Oh! In Death Battle? Do you like Smash Oh, sorry. I just moved on to the next question. Would you like to see Yu-Gi-Oh! In Death Battle? I think it'd be interesting, but it might be tough to do. Do you like Smash Ultimate? Absolutely. Favorite video game so far. Love to play it. Silver the Hedgehog versus Mewtwo? Probably Mewtwo. Silver Surfer versus Dr. Manhattan? Dr. Manhattan. I still think Venom got this fight for Venom versus Krona. Yeah, again, it just kind of depends on how they're going to go with it. What they're going to give Venom. Who could Quicksilver fight if he returned? Well, I don't know. You could just do Quicksilver versus Sonic, but I don't know. I don't think there's a great. I don't think there's a great opponent for Quicksilver, honestly. If you need a drink, we understand you are doing a lot of talking. It's fine. No, there's no problem with that. Honestly, the bigger problem are my legs. They're starting to cramp up. I even plan to make my own Pokemon TV show for Nickelodeon. Okay, that's cool. Followed by my own Sonic the Hedgehog TV show. Did you know the creator for My Hero Academia is a really big superhero fan? I didn't know that, but I definitely can believe that. Sonic.exe versus Freddy Fazbear. Again, I don't know how powerful Freddy actually is supposed to be. And even then, like, I don't know that much about Sonic.exe, so hard to say. Yeah, Tenya could be an opponent for Quicksilver, but I don't know. I still don't think there's a great opponent for Quicksilver that exists, other than like Flash, which is already a stomp. Michael Myers versus Leatherface. Maybe Michael. Hard to say. I think Pennywise versus Slenderman would be a tie. Okay, that's fair. I don't like doing ties, so I just tried to pick a winner. Pit versus Kratos. Probably Kratos. Living Tribunal versus Spectre. Oh, God. I don't know. Spectre is like, he is part God, but Living Tribunal is like the son of God. I could see that going either way. I would need to do more research on that, but that's a really cool fight. Man United versus Liverpool, I don't know. Slenderman versus Carnage. I don't really see how either of them could kill the other. Although Slenderman does have fire manipulation, so I guess Slenderman by default. Graboids from Tremors versus Sandworm from Beetlejuice. I don't know those characters too well. The One Above All versus the Presence, Marvel versus DC. That fight is a tie because they're both omnipotent. Like, there is no real way to say who would win that fight. If you really need an answer from me, even though the answer is a tie, if you really want an answer from me, I would say One Above All, just because we've seen the Presence actually say that he had to be like created or something. And an omnipotent being technically should not need to be created. So because they are the creator. And then there's also the fact that I think the one above all is supposed to be the representation of like the writers, whereas the presence is not. Like that's more of the over monitor. I could be getting part of that wrong, but I think there's more of a case to be made for one above all, even though I still think the answer is a tie. Batman Beyond versus Miles Morales. I don't know. Maybe Batman Beyond, but that's tough. Static Shock versus Electro, definitely Static. Who would win, Penny Parker or Hiro Hamada? Oh, Penny Parker versus Hiro Hamada. If we're talking just Big Hero 6, Penny might have some crazy feats. I think Penny is the safer answer. Do you play Ratchet & Clank, Sly Cooper, or Jak and Daxter? No, I don't play those that often. Not really big into those things. Deku versus Miles Morales, a bit more aggressive idea, or do you think they could have done in a death battle? I don't know. I think Miles versus Static worked out really well. I thought it was a really good fight, but it's hard to say. Okay, just to let you guys know, the plan was to stream for only like for only 2 hours, and honestly, I don't think I can extend it much longer because I have other things to do. So I'm gonna try to keep answering all these questions. But you know, I think what will happen is that for the questions that I don't answer, I'm gonna like maybe leave a comment on the published video. So then for the people who didn't get those other questions answered, they can, or at least the questions that I feel like answering, you know, depending on if I have a big opinion on them. We'll see. I may do that, I may not do that. But to be fair, I think a lot of people have had their questions answered. So I think that's pretty fair. You know, you guys have already gotten a lot of your questions answered, so I think that's satisfying enough. Sora versus Marth. I want to say Sora, but I don't know that much about Fire Emblem. SpongeBob versus Bugs. Probably Bugs. The Powerpuff Girls versus Superman. I want to say Superman. Who and why? Adolf Hitler or the Jewish community? I'm not answering that. I don't think it's very fun to joke about that stuff. RPM Red Ranger versus Cassie Cage. I think probably Red Ranger would win that one. Speedrunner Mario versus Big Rigs. The Fufu. I'm not sure. Venom versus Alex Mercer. I've heard a lot of people say Alex Mercer. I don't really know why. Personally, I would want to say Venom, but it's hard to say. Lucina versus Zenovia. Fire Emblem versus High School DxD. Don't know anything about High School DxD. Megatron versus Ultron. I don't know. Ultron's really hard to put down, but Megatron probably has more destructive capability overall. That's tough to say. Okay, who do you think would win between Slenderman and Carnage? Sorry for the repost. Again, I think probably Slenderman just by default. Deku versus Ruby, probably Deku. Do you prefer hot dog buns or corn dogs, or hot dogs or corn dogs or both? I prefer hot dogs. Woot, Dexter versus Jimmy Neutron for who and why. Exciting times. Yes, that will most likely be in season 12. How about this? What type of burger do you like? I like a lot of burgers. I like cheeseburgers with ketchup. Okay, actually, I'm just hearing that I have to go. I have other stuff to do. But thank you guys so much for joining the chat. I know that there's so many more questions down here, and there's probably even more that I can't even see. Again, I may post a question answer comment regarding it. But even if I don't, I think that's satisfying enough for you guys. You guys have gotten a lot of questions answered. I personally had a lot of fun doing this. I really hope you guys had a lot of fun too. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. You guys were all so great. And yeah, I can't wait to share even more memories with you guys making future videos. And of course, this is celebrating 1,500 subscribers. That's awesome. So thank you all so much for that. I really do appreciate it. And yeah, I think I'm just going to end the stream here. I really wish I could answer the rest of the questions. I just don't have time to. I think it's cool that we got so many people here. It's just that there's not enough time. I don't know if people are saying goodbye like in the chat like they did last time. If they are, again, thank you guys so much for everything that you guys do. I appreciate it. But yeah, that's the end of the live stream. The next one will probably be at 2,000 subscribers if we get there. So yeah, that's it for me. See you later and have a good night.